Today, California Republicans filed the first major lawsuit to try to block Proposition 50 from the ballot in a special election this fall. Prop 50 would ask voters to approve new congressional maps.
Yeah, now those maps have been drawn by Democrats to try to elect more Democrats to the U.S. House of Representatives. KC Area 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala has been on this from the beginning. She joins us now to explain what the California Supreme Court is set to consider.
Golston, the California Republican Party and Dillon Law Group are essentially asking the California Supreme Court to block Prop 50 from even going to voters in the first place on November 4th. They say what the Democratic-led California legislature did to violate the state constitution did so in 3 ways. So to start with what they say is the first violation, they say it's the main question the court should answer. Can the California legislature usurp or completely bypass that citizens-led redistricting commission? Republicans say Democrats drew maps without having permission from voters, noting the Constitution only allows that redistricting commission to do so once a decade. Their second claim says lawmakers and the ballot measure violate the Constitution by not sticking to one single topic and by asking 2 separate and what they say could be confusing questions to voters in November. Those questions: 1, will you approve these maps drawn by and drawn for Democrats? And 2, will you support nationwide independent redistricting? Then the third point they make is actually rehashing their argument from last week that lawmakers did not wait 30 days to review this entire proposal as the state constitution requires.
They're having backroom deals, making decisions without our knowledge, and then trying to ram those decisions down our throat. We're not here because we're Republicans. We're not here because we're partisan. We're here because we care. Because let's call balls and strikes. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And what's happening in the Capitol right now is wrong. Californians want to see more transparency, not less. We want to preserve the Constitution and preserve our right to choose who represents us. If we don't have that right anymore, then we have no control over our futures.
After the Republicans filed the lawsuit, I caught up with California Secretary of State Shirley Weber. She did not comment on the lawsuit itself, but she did weigh in on how this lawsuit could impact the very short timeline she and other elections officials are working with to make that November 4th election happen. In our interview, she appeared prepared for the court battle to extend beyond California. Take a listen.
The courts have been so unusual, and everything else has been so unusual, that it's hard to predict what they're going to do. Back in the day, during the 1965 Voters' Rights Act and the Brown versus Board of Education, I could probably tell you what the Supreme Court was thinking about. It's hard to tell what they think now.
Yeah. In terms of the California Supreme Court, though, same thing?
California Supreme Court would be fine, but then we know it's going to have to go somewhere else, and it'll go on and on. We're in a very litigious environment where everybody files a lawsuit, everybody has an appeal, everyone has an argument. And unfortunately, by the time we get through all of that, most of whatever we were going to do will either have already been done and then try to be undone. So this is a really difficult time. And so it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen, because oftentimes many of the things we thought existed in the Constitution do exist, but people are re-challenging the Constitution itself. And so very difficult times after 150 years of California law and 250 years of the United States. Everything is in conflict at this point and up for grabs. And so we are praying that the Constitution holds fast.
So would it be tough with that? I mean, would it be tough to guarantee a November 4th special election? I'm
guaranteeing it to the extent that the legislature has guaranteed it. I can only do what they asked to do, and if it's held up, then we can only do what the courts do, because we do abide by the Constitution in California.
Now, in that interview, I did ask Secretary Weber if this effort here in California is something she supports, this democratic redistricting. She told me there's no good answer to that question. She said the situation in Texas with redistricting and President Donald Trump requires a response, and she said there has to be an effort to fight back, essentially.
Interesting. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the Prop 50 campaign. They're responding to what happened today.
Yeah, essentially, in a pretty brief statement, they said Trump's toadies already got destroyed once in court. And in that statement, they're referring to what happened last week when the California Supreme Court would not step in on that 30-day review requirement that Republicans are now trying to rehash and bring bring up in this latest lawsuit. Mike Colombo with Dillon Law Group said the court would not get involved because at the time last week there was no relief available. The legislature had not taken any action. They didn't put it on the ballot yet. He said now that the measure is officially on the ballot, blocking it could be that form of relief that they could ask from the court. So now, literally, the ball is in the Supreme
Something
Court.
for them to consider in front of them now.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Les, I thank you so much for the update. And we do have an interactive tool on our KCRA3 website where you can drag the shape of a potential new district onto the current district. We have to warn you, it takes a little guessing as to where the new district would be positioned exactly. But if you'd like to try out that tool, you can scan the QR code on your screen.